Okay, Mr. Grusing, if you would retake your seat in the witness stand, I remind you, sir, that you're still under oath.
Good morning, Mr. Grusing.
Good morning.
So we've had an opportunity to listen to all of the phone calls. We've got still one more to go. How, in your experience, as you're working this particular case, are you using the information you're gathering from these phone calls to inform you of how you're going to interview her eventually?
Yes, we were working as a team and talking with Al after each call to determine exactly what happened on that call. And then before we would make contact with Letecia the next day, we would compare what we learned that day to previous days to see maybe what our new strategy would be.
Did the strategy change, like you're describing, from phone call to phone call or from day to day sometimes?
Yes, and even in the middle of a phone call, it might change depending upon her answers.
I noticed in the, I think it was the last phone call, there was a change where you start using the word, or Al does, at your direction, I think, start using the word murder as opposed to accident.
That's correct.
Why did that change happen?
It seemed to us that Letecia was not accepting that this was an accident, even though we kept on posing that through Al. And since she was rejecting that, we encouraged Al to see what she would react to if we said, well, possibly this was a murder and possibly you were responsible.
I want to ask you about third person. In your life experience, have you encountered people that have referred to themselves in a third person?
At times, yes.
Can that be a hallmark of somebody that's self-absorbed?
It can be, yes.
Okay. Did you find Letecia Stauch during these phone calls and even during your interview with her that we're going to get to later this morning to also be self-absorbed?
Yes. Almost every call was centered around her and how she was feeling instead of us trying to get her to focus on Gannon.
Okay. As it relates to those last two phone calls, 57 and 58, that we listened to Wednesday afternoon, was there any other important information in those phone calls that you used to develop that pattern of behavior in your mind going forward?
When Al posed to her about possible injuries to Gannon when he was talking with her about murder, she removed Gannon from the conversation and said, you're saying words like, did I murder someone and did I hit anyone over the head with a board? And she basically took Gannon out of the injuries that Al was accusing her of doing. We were trained to look for gaps in the story, like hours missing in a day, as well as illogical use of pronouns, and that jumped out at me.
Why does that jump out at you?
Because it was very personal what they were discussing of Gannon, and then when she's describing the possible that she would be responsible for hitting him in the head with a board or possibly murdering him, she takes Gannon out of the conversation.
Okay. So basically depersonifying Gannon?
Correct.
Okay. This next phone call is the last one that we've admitted, and then when this particular phone call is done, we'll bring Mr. Grusing back up.
Hello?
Hey.
So, hey, you said there was an emergency that you need to talk about?
Yes, are you okay, because I sent you the message about stopping searching, and I said, are you ready to work together with me? Yes, I sent that to you.
Okay, so what is it?
What do you mean, what is it? I'm telling you. Oh my God, I don't know how to clear to say this. Do you believe me now that I didn't do anything wrong?
I mean, I'm just trying to get you made it seem like there was some urgent news that you had to tell me, and this is.
And I sent you the link you were talking about with the landfill. That was old.
Oh, so there wasn't really anything urgent and pressing that would help me find Gannon.
I'm asking you, are you ready to work together with your wife to do it?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm going off your list. Number one, Gannon. So let's focus on that. Okay.
So you read my list. Why are people sending this about lies about airports and all this? And so
I don't know.
You can't have a straight goal in common.
I don't know. I don't care about social media. Never have. Who cares what people are saying? I rode with my mom to the airport.
Okay, where are you?
Where am I? I
Yes.
told you I just stepped out of work on lunch break.
Like, as in the node?
No, as in the headquarters.
Okay. Are you gonna be, like, able to, like, stay with your wife so we can work on this together?
I'm not making any promises.
I need to know, like, now, like, starting tomorrow.
Well, you're not even here. If you're telling me starting tomorrow,
With the dogs. I can't fly the dogs.
well, how did the dogs get to where you're at if they couldn't fly?
I'm in a car with friends. That's all I've been doing. The dogs can't get on an airplane.
What friends?
Only thing I'm saying with a friend named Michelle, so the different people, some adjacent people to me that works with Harley. We stayed at their house.
Okay.
We've just been staying everywhere. The dogs cannot get on an airplane.
Okay, fair enough. But I want to get back to Gannon.
I want you to tell me you're going to work together with me.
That's not a
Be together so we can break down everything, figure this out, get a plan in place.
But why is the safety of a child contingent upon anything other than finding him?
I can't help you if we're not together.
Yes, you can.
I can't do any of that together. The safety of a child is work together because we have to write it down 10 freaking times and work through it. That's the safety. I beg for this.
But I still don't understand how you helping me with Gannon is contingent upon anything else.
Not contingent. I am your wife. Did you file for divorce? Did you?
I didn't hear what you said. What?
Did you file for divorce?
I told you that already. No. Do you want me to?
Okay. No. Are you cheating on me?
Am I cheating on you? No. Listen, we need to focus on Gannon, okay? You told me you had...
Like some big plan.
No, it's not. Yeah, it is. You're right. It's a big plan to find my son. Absolutely. Okay, so listen to me. You made this, like you always do in these scenarios, you made it seem like we could fix this immediately. You got some big piece of information. Listen.
Listen to me and be open-minded. You taking my side in order for it to even be working. Because if you go against me, you poke me, you be whatever, you try to do whatever, all these things. We can't get to what you need.
Okay, so that's what I wanted you to say, because you just told me that finding Gannon is contingent upon what you getting what you want. You said if I don't buck you or don't be with you and don't sleep with you, yeah, that's what you said in essence, is that if I don't give you what you want, we don't find Gannon. So listen, but hold on, listen, I'm going back in now. I thought you had some emergency.
Number one, I'm saying to you.
If you tell me information I need to know on Gannon, like who took Gannon or what happened to Gannon, then we talk about this other 7 parts of your list, okay? But number one is Gannon. Nothing happens for anybody in the rest of my life, period, until I get information about Gannon or find him. I thought you didn't have a car. Sounds like a car to me.
I told you, I dropped these old things to burn some old vehicle because I don't have a license.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, number one. I need you to tell me that you have confidence and believe in me. Okay?
Number 1 on the list is Gannon, so. Okay, I believe in you and have confidence in you that you'll tell me the truth.
All right. Number 1, find again. All right, so Wycombe, there hasn't been any kind of like locations, searches, anything outside of only where I went. So that should be the most concerning thing to you. Is that the first thing that has to be done. Okay, so tell me why that's not happening.
That's a question we need to ask law enforcement, not me.
But that's not something that you have even thought of to ask, because, I mean, you called me to ask about this landfill that was false that someone was messing around with your head, being a dick, but this, your guy Mark, you haven't asked him this several times?
I'm sure, yes, I've asked him this. Why are you searching there? Well, we can't tell you anything.
Okay, so then, next question. Everywhere that I went, was searched. acres upon acres upon acres when I didn't even go to those acres. How do we find Gannon if none of those things, he was none of the places that I went, does that not make you open up your eyes and say that I'm not involved, someone else is?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like back to your first question. I believe in you, okay? But I believe you know that someone else involved and you know who. That's what I want. Okay. So, but see, then you keep sending me messages, emergency, we can fix this right now, but then you never tell me anything.
Number two, that's the second thing. We know that, all right? Anything I haven't done. All right, so why come when I gave them the information that I gave them, why did they not look into it? Why did they not believe it? Why?
What information about Quincy Brown?
Anywhere.
Are you talking about Quincy Brown? What information are you talking about?
No, I did not.
What information?
Okay, you just said they don't tell you anything, right? That's what you're saying.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
So, which means they would have gotten information from me.
Okay, so what information was it?
That I told them they have not covered any areas except only the areas that I drove.
Okay, but what information are you talking about? Why won't you give me that information? I'm the father of the missing child, Tecia.
But I've already told you one time, and when I told you it wasn't good enough.
Well, tell me again. Tell me right now. I'm in believe Tecia mode.
Okay, how long do you have?
Like 5 to 7 minutes. Honestly, I gotta get back in.
5 to 7 minutes.
Well, what do you need? Tell me what you need. An hour? 10 minutes?
Are you on lunch? I mean, I'm not trying to mess you up at work.
No, I'm working like 4-hour days. So I mean, I come out because I told you I'd come out around this time. Okay, but I got another hour or some of work, and then I'm leaving for the day. Because they're just trying, like I told you this morning, they're trying to phase me back in. So I don't want to be out here for 20, 30 minutes.
Okay, so then what time can you sit down and talk with just you, not with you and all your other clan?
Right now.
So you got 30 minutes to give me right now.
Listen, I'll make up some bullshit when I go back in there, but yeah, I'll give you 30 minutes right now. Walk me through it.
Okay. Now I need you to answer this question. How many of the videos, so it can all make sense to you, have you saw other than one video?
Listen, this is not Albert answers a bunch of questions. You tell me. No, you tell me what I'm missing or haven't seen. That's what this is about. This is not you.
Have you seen a video of anyone pulling into our yard after 4 o'clock?
Have I seen a video?
Did you see this?
Have I seen any video of that? I'm not sitting here answering questions, okay? I haven't seen other than what's been released. I haven't seen what's other than been released to the public. I'm not sitting here getting questioned. You said you had a story to tell me about this.
I didn't say I had a story.
Okay.
Helping you.
Okay, well, help me. Don't. Okay, I'm listening.
Did you see any other videos?
I'm listening. I'm not being questioned, okay? Tell me what I'm missing in the video. Just tell me. Don't ask me. Tell me.
In the video, when Harley comes home, and Lena, I'm sure you had to see this. Just tell me where Harley parked her car.
I have no clue, Tecia. Tell me what you're trying to tell me. Now you're getting me upset.
You haven't seen this.
No, I have not seen anything. I told you that. I've seen what is on the internet on the video about the truck. That's it.
Okay. So can you wait by your phone for 5 minutes?
You said 30 minutes, and just if you got something.
30 minutes. But I need you to wait by your phone for 5 minutes because I have this girl's kids in here.
Yeah, what?
Her kids are in her car. I drove to get some food. I have her kids in here. So I just need 5 minutes to pull up in the yard for the kids to get out.
What does that keep you from sending a video?
It's not sending the video. I don't want to talk about it with kids around. They could hear me. I'm asking you for 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes. Let me pull in the yard and they get out.
Just tell me what you got to tell me. There's no kids in the car. I don't hear a peep, okay?
There is a kid in the car.
Listen, I knew, either you tell me now or I'm just going to put the phone down and go back into work, okay? Because I don't got time to sit here, you jerk me around. I'm tired of you jerking me around.
Literally almost to the street.
Listen, I don't have 5 minutes. I got the 30 minutes you asked for. I got that. You start telling me whatever it is you got to tell me. Who cares if a kid's in the car? That should be a good thing that you know information that can help you find the missing kid. I'm sure they've heard about it.
Well, I don't know if they did. They might have not have.
Well,
I'm turning on her street. Just hold on.
yeah, okay.
I swear to you, I'm literally turning on her street.
I'm not questioning you. I'm in believe Tisha mode. I'm just waiting for some facts that I can believe.
I need you to believe, Albert. I need you to believe that someone did take Gannon. I need you to believe that I've already given the police department the description. I've already did that. I need you to quit thinking that it's somebody just made up, because it's not. Obviously, I didn't do it. There's no way possible that I could have been hours and hours away in a certain window. I need you to help them re-look at that. I'm telling you, Gannon would have left our neighborhood anywhere between that time frame, and it wouldn't even be surprised if it weren't like the kid in North Carolina.
What certain window are you talking about?
The certain window I'm talking about, between 3 and anywhere that evening, because here's why. There was a lot of people out and about in the neighborhood. Everywhere.
So you weren't home during that certain window? Is that what you said?
Do what?
You said you weren't home during that certain window, or he could have left in that certain window?
I'm saying that's when it happened. So by the time I called, okay, Gannon still could have been in the neighborhood.
But you said when it happened. What is it, Tisha?
I told you already. You haven't looked at it to see. Okay, go to the ring. See, we went out the front door. When we left, we went out the front door. Okay? When we left, I set the alarm. I went out the front door. I came back in the front door, made sure the alarm was set, went out the garage. You can see that on the ring. When I came out, I think it was like 10:07, 10:08-ish, maybe. We left out. We were in the garage.
Okay.
There was no more, at that time, there was no more anybody going in and out. And the dogs do not set off the motion in the house.
Right.
They don't. Okay?
Not when they're in their crates. You're right.
Yeah, not when they're in their crates. And as sure as heck, if I'm somewhere upstairs, they're with me. They're not just roaming around doing a thing. They're following somebody that they look. Okay? When we came back, I told you 15,000 times about the car following us at Petco. The reason I left the phone at Petco, you want to know why? Why don't y'all go check the alarm on it? I set an alarm for it to go off. If I hadn't came back in the time frame to call the police. I set the alarm on there, Albert. There was no intention. I had my watch on, so there was no hiding where I was going or whatever.
But wait. So you set an alarm to call the police? Why?
No, not because someone was following us.
From the house or from Petco?
From the house.
Okay.
To Petco.
Okay.
Then from Petco, that's why I kept walking to the door to look, because Gannon was laying down. He was playing the switch, so I knew that they knew nobody was in the car. That's what they thought. Maybe I was being over suspicious.
Well, so help me out here, because I'm in believe teacher mode. So okay, just so you know that. But somebody's following you from the house, and you leave Gannon in the truck.
They never knew anybody was in the truck.
But if they followed you from the house, didn't they see y'all get into the truck?
I was not like from the house as in our house, like as in not the area that.
All right. Well, okay. All right. Help me be in believe teacher mode. Okay. All right. Don't start spinning. Just tell me.
I'm spinning.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to.
Let me go through the whole entire thing.
Okay. I'll go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So I sit there. I was playing with these period pad things. because apparently dogs have periods. Okay, so I'm holding the thing, and I sat there and I said, "Alarm!" Just for the alarm to go off. Like, whatever. That was for the alarm to go off. Maybe I was being too superstitious. I just was being whatever. I don't know. Okay.
Sorry.
And now you're yawning?
Listen, I don't sleep good at night. I haven't for years, you know that, so go ahead.
Albert, I was supposed to, deliver papers.
Deliver?
I couldn't do it, Albert.
Deliver papers for what? Tisha?
When I went to Nevada, there was this pregnant lady. So I agreed to help the pregnant lady because she was really, really pregnant. She gets in the car, which is why Gannon was not in the front seat. He was in the back seat.
You said wait. You said when you went to Nevada?
Went through Nevada.
Oh. I'm like, what? You're in Nevada? Anyways, go ahead.
Right. When I realized she's not pregnant, once she gets in the car,
was this the same lady that was following you?
I don't know if they were following us. I just know there was a car following us. When I get off, I turn where Harley gets the eyelashes done because I thought I would lose them. Then I saw a pregnant lady. She looked legit like 8 months pregnant.
What kind of car was following you? Because maybe they
told you this 15 times.
Oh, okay.
It was a blue something, like a blue little car, like a Cooper or something like this.
Okay, so like a blue, not red, right? Just a blue one.
No, it was the red earlier in the day was nothing. It's already been checked out.
Okay, all right.
The reason I know that one's been checked out because I had somebody in Lorson Ranch do it.
All right, I was just making sure. I make sure I keep these cars straight. So it was the blue one, not the red one.
See,
No, don't get upset. Don't get upset. I'm just trying to get it straight. I'm not picking holes in your story. I'm just making sure we're on the blue car. Okay. So now back to the pregnant lady that gets in the front seat.
So the pregnant lady gets in the front seat, but she's not really pregnant. I don't know that she's not really pregnant, but she says she just needs a ride. I felt bad. She looked really, really pregnant, like 8 months.
I said, I'm just listening.
You know what? I'm not going to help if you're going to do this to me.
Listening and believing?
I really, really came in this to be honest with you.
Okay, and I'm just listening.
No, you aren't. You're being a dick by saying, That's being a dick to me.
I don't know why you're saying that, but does the pregnant lady know what happened to G? Does she know where Gannon went?
Can I finish?
Yeah, absolutely.
She wasn't really pregnant. She had about, I don't even know how much money inside of this thing that makes her look pregnant. So you know where my mind immediately goes?
Where?
What would you think a pregnant person disguising as pregnant but money in her belly means?
She probably robbed a bank.
Okay, she might have.
Yeah, I would be scared myself, even if it was a woman.
Yeah, because that's pretty scary, right? You're making fun of this like it's...
No, I'm not. If somebody got in my truck with a pregnant belly full of cash, I'd be worried to death. You're right.
I don't know how else to help other than to know we were in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Okay, are you talking about Petco?
Yes, because Petco I just was supposed to walk in Petco, look around, be normal, go drop this lady off somewhere.
Oh, so she told you to walk into Petco?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
She forced me.
Of course, I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Did she have a weapon, like a gun or a knife or something to threaten you, or what?
How do you think someone would force you? You're sensitive.
No, you're a tough girl, so I'm just gonna take a lot. That's what I'm trying to say. If somebody,
You tough girl.
yeah, I don't think you'd be scared easy by somebody like that. So that's just what I'm saying. You probably start swinging unless she had a gun or a knife or something.
This is a joke to you.
No, I'm serious. I'm trying to.
You finally are getting like legit, and it's a joke to you.
I'm sorry you think that, but go ahead.
I'm not. Forget it, man. You're not wanting to stand by my side. You don't want to help.
I'm right here standing by your side, listening to the truth. Okay, I'm in believe teacher mode, like I told you.
Yeah, and then what you're gonna do? Tell me I'm telling a lie and hang up?
Are you telling a lie?
No, that's what you're gonna do. You're not gonna believe it. I told you it was beyond your wildest imagination to know he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
He was in the wrong place, or y'all were in the wrong place? Okay, we was in the wrong place. Okay, all right. You want me to believe you, but I feel like you're just telling me something to make me feel better about Gannon missing. Okay, so because it was kind of like the Quincy Brown thing. I mean, now it's a pregnant lady with cash in her belly. Okay, I believe you. What's next? What happened next?
Now you're making silly.
No, I'm trying to make sense of all of it. Okay, you want me to believe you? I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Tell me the rest of the story.
Albert, to sum it up, it's just being caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time with people who are money laundering, wanting me or whoever they can get to deliver paper to these Mexican restaurants, and you're supposed to get packages back from them. And I wouldn't do it. So that's why we were on County Line Road, because I was scared to death. I left. So I was going round and round and round to make sure that no car followed me.
So is that where they were trying to send you, or you just went there because you knew that was out in the boonies?
No, because 25, I got on Interstate 25 and it was backed up.
Oh, so you did like we did that one time and took a detour?
With nothing to do with whatever. They've already searched the entire area. I'm innocent. That's who has Gannon, okay?
The pregnant lady with the cash?
No, whoever has proof is I've already given it to the Mexican guy. Why do you think I told you that about the Quincy thing? Because the whole Mexico. We need to be looking at any routes going into Mexico, and I've been telling you this.
No, but okay, all right, I'm out of believe Tisha mode now, okay, because you told me Quincy Brown was in Colorado Springs. His family told your news reporter that he's in Mexico, okay? You didn't know that beforehand. And of course, you have nothing to say about that. I'll talk to you later.
Did there seem to be a focus on, from her standpoint, on making sure she was going to stay with Al?
Yes.
What's the significance of that in your mind as an investigator?
She wanted finding Gannon to be contingent upon Al coming back into the marriage with her.
Was it fairly consistent that she would precondition giving information on Mr. Stauch promising to stay with her?
Yes.
Did that help with your building pattern of behavior preparing for her interview?
It did.
Does that also give her a way to calculate the flow of information that law enforcement got?
She was, yes.
In what way?
Well, and Al was doing a good job of deflecting questions. She was probing for what he knew, what he had seen, and as Al and our team knew from now, whatever facts we would give her would shift her story to meet those.
Along those lines, was it clear based on these phone calls that she was very closely following the advancement of the investigation?
Yes.
And would she appear to, from your perspective, use the information that she would get from following the investigation and then explain away things that might be found in different areas?
She would. And because it was only her and Gannon together, it's only her story that mattered.
Did that appear to be an effort to manipulate the investigation?
Yes,
Is that a calculated move on her part?
it was.
There was that one section in that last phone call where she is expressing concern with areas of searches. Is that showing that indication that she's following the investigation from afar?
Yes, you're right.
Was she still at this particular point trying to imply that she was in the Colorado Springs area?
Yes.
Did you know specifically where she was at this particular time?
Yes, we knew she was in South Carolina.
Talking about her efforts to manipulate the investigation, did she point throughout all of these phone calls at random unknown persons?
It's hard to say random. It seemed to be somewhat calculated.
Random from your perspective as an investigator, calculated from her perspective. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes.
Okay. So we have Eduardo, right?
Correct.
The information that she gave about identifying Eduardo, so any identifying features, do you remember that right now?
I don't.
Okay. If it was basically a 5'8", thinner Hispanic male with pockmarked face, is that a very detailed or not very detailed description of somebody?
Not if you have extensive interaction with him, which she told us in her story that she did. That was prior to me coming on, so I was reviewing that information.
Okay. And then changing it later to say, well, maybe he was actually a black guy, like a Puerto Rican.
Correct.
And then developing into Quincy Brown.
Yeah, I believe next she went to Uncle Matt.
I was going to get to Uncle Matt here in just a second. Do you remember as it develops into the Quincy Brown story?
I do.
Did that coincide with the same time that Most Wanted release was issued for Quincy Brown in Colorado Springs media?
Yes.
And then you mentioned Uncle Matt. Did she give any identifying features for an Uncle Matt?
She did not. She laid the blame for Uncle Matt at Gannon, saying this was Gannon had been talking about Uncle Matt prior to Gannon's disappearance, and then Gannon was jumping on Uncle Matt, and then Gannon disappeared because of Uncle Matt.
There's that one portion of time where she's at least relaying the idea that she's driving in a car with some other kid in this last phone call that we just listened to.
Yes.
Could you hear any noises from that side of the phone call that indicated a kid was in the car?
We could not.
Did you hear any doors open or close like she was indicating she just dropped a kid off?
No.
There's also reference by her about driving past a church. You remember that portion?
Yes.
And Al actually presses her and says, what's the name of the church?
Correct.
I didn't hear. Did she give a name of that church?
Couldn't hear her give a name. At least I didn't.
There was an interesting quote that she made in that particular call, and it was, I need you to believe someone took Gannon. What's the significance of that type of a statement from the defendant?
Well, she was, again, the last one with him, and she's now tried 4 or 5 someones, and now she's not giving us an identification of this pregnant lady. We were not scripting Al to yawn or do those things during this one, but it was obvious that this was not going to lead us anywhere closer to Gannon. So with her not giving us a name or anything to follow up on, we were fine with Al just reacting naturally to this new story.
Okay. The leading up to the pregnant lady with some sort of a money pregnancy thing, was there any indication that somebody followed her from the home area, Lorson Ranch, to Petco?
There was not.
Were you aware that she actually made 2 Petco visits on January 27th that were basically 2 hours apart on that day?
Yes.
Was there any indication through the investigation that someone was forcing her to go into Petco?
There was not.
As it relates to this pregnant lady with the money thing, did she ever give any detailed information about description of this pregnant lady with money coming out of her belly?
No.
She mentioned money laundering in Mexican restaurants. Curious your thoughts on that angle of it. That there's a description of Eduardo being a slim Hispanic guy. Then she changes it to a black guy or a Mexican guy, and now we're back to Mexican money laundering clans. Thoughts on that from your perspective as an investigator?
She goes back and forth whether it's someone involved in the criminal element must be responsible for someone like this, or Gannon is responsible through accidents. So she's ascribing criminal behavior to most of these people that would have inflicted injuries on him or taken him.
Okay. And as it relates to blaming others, does she consistently almost try to shift blame onto Gannon?
She does.
In what ways?
It's accidental. She did it at the very first by saying he just ran away. But then throughout, she will say that he was involved in an accident, or he stepped on something, or he hit his head, or he busted his lip. Those sorts of injuries that he's causing to himself.
As it relates to those descriptions of various injuries, does that also include the bleeding from the rectum?
Yes.
Okay. In those descriptions, was she also giving information that only somebody with knowledge of those injuries would have, the actual injuries that Gannon suffered?
Correct.
Was that significant to you at all?
It was, and I believe it was on the 13th, the very first phone call we had. It's the first time that she mentioned Quincy Brown, or the most egregious injuries she ascribed to him, and that was the bleeding from the head, the hands, and the knees, and then blood pouring from his face. So she was describing, things, and as we were going, we were trying to how can we use that to help find Gannon. But then she would shift later and say, whether it was the burns or the face, that those injuries were not as significant. So we were just back and forth. But throughout, if you look at the whole picture of these 10, 12 calls, she was describing a significant amount of injuries to him.
As we listen to all of these calls, and I think we've actually admitted 16 separate phone calls into evidence in this case, were there actually even more than that were conducted that were not admitted in this trial?
Yes, I believe so.
How did you use the information that you gathered in those particular phone calls that you participated in? How are you using that to build the pattern of behavior for this specific defendant?
Well, our primary goal was to find Gannon at this point in the investigation. And information was coming in daily. We had a whole timeline across the break conference room that we would add new data to each day. So even with the story about the pregnant lady and the blue car and whatever else we're trying to compare, it will something new give us a clue to where Gannon is. And then secondly, we're looking at building a case against Letecia and working towards an arrest and an interview.
Okay.